In Manhattan, noise never stops. Taxis, subways, footsteps, midnight arguments. This city has no silence, except here. Here, the Church of Our Lady of Guadalupe once rang its bells for the Spanish-speaking souls who crossed oceans and borders to find a place in the city that never rests. But one night, something happened. A bell rang, long after the parish had closed, long after the tower should have been silent. A single broken chime. A sound so soft and so out of place that neighbors looked out their windows and said they felt not fear, but homesick. Tonight, we walk into a Manhattan church that held a whole community together, and then quietly let itself fade when the voices it loved moved on. The Church of Our Lady of Guadalupe was born in the early 20th century. A sanctuary carved from stone for Spanish-speaking immigrants who arrived with nothing but paper suitcases and memories of warmer skies. Inside these walls, Spanish wasn't foreign. It was welcomed, needed, treasured. Masses overflowed with families from Puerto Rico, Spain, Mexico, and the Dominican Republic, all gathering under the soft gaze of the dark-haired Virgen de Guadalupe, who glowed above the altar like a promise. Here, English wasn't required to belong. Only a longing for home and a desire to breathe for a moment without the city rushing over you. This was the first Spanish-speaking parish in New York, a lighthouse for the displaced. Guadalupe lived. It thrived. It pulsed with color. Feast days filled the sidewalks with paper flowers and singing. Mothers carried candlelit offerings, and grandfathers hummed hymns from villages they hadn't seen in decades. Inside the choir was a tapestry of accents, Caribbean warmth, Iberian consonants, Mexican softness, Puerto Rican rhythm. Together, they built a sound that didn't belong to one country, but to all of them. Confessions went late into the night. A priest with tired eyes listened to the heartache of a city that rarely pauses long enough to speak honestly. Guadalupe became a refuge where you could say your real worries in your real language and feel understood. But neighborhoods shift. Cities molt, communities scatter. By the 1980s and 90s, the community that once crowded the pews was being priced out, pushed out, or pulled into new boroughs. Attendance thinned, programs shrank. The choir lost voices to long commutes and longer work hours. The Archdiocese made a quiet decision. merge the parish, close the church. One final mass. A handful of parishioners who felt a grief deeper than they could explain. Afterward, the doors locked, the lights dimmed, the city kept rushing, indifferent as always. Then came the sound, a bell, a real physical bell ringing once from the empty tower. No one was inside, no rope had been pulled, no wind strong enough to move metal. Just a single chime that rolled down the Manhattan streets like a farewell in a language everyone could understand, even if they didn't speak it. In the decades that followed, Guadalupe sat hollow, but not lifeless. Urban explorers said the air inside still smelled faintly of incense. Others heard soft murmurs in languages they couldn't place. The ghost of a multilingual congregation still whispering prayers into the rafters. The stained glass, once glowing with blues and golds, dimmed behind dust, yet still held the warmth of 100 feast days. On quiet nights, people walking home after closing shifts claimed they heard singing, not eerie, but comforting. A lullaby for anyone who had ever felt alone in this vast city. Guadalupe wasn't haunted, it was homesick. Today, the Church of Our Lady of Guadalupe is a shell, a memory, a testament to how communities rise, root, and eventually move on. But if you step close to the locked doors, you'll notice something. The marble is warm. The steps feel worn in a way that suggests people still climb them in some invisible way. And sometimes a reflection passes across the dusty stained glass, as if someone inside lit a candle just to keep the night from feeling too large. Guadalupe is gone, but not erased, just folded gently into the long story of a city that holds 1,000,000 tiny departures and just as many returns. Sometimes a church doesn't close, it simply waits for someone to remember how much it meant. If you're still listening, you carry these forgotten places with you. Subscribe before the next forgotten story opens. This is Dark Atlas Files, where even abandoned sanctuaries still whisper in the dark.